What's up, guys? All right, here we go. Back on Dave Van Auken Fight Bananas podcast. Awesome guest, flyweight breakout star, standout, Anik and Florian's just praising you on their podcast. Miranda, Maverick, how are you doing?
I'm doing really well. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Pleasure's all ours. Appreciate it. Before we get into fighting and all that stuff, I'm a family guy. I love family, love my kids. I saw that your younger sister just kicked some ass in some wrestling. Is that right? Did I see that correctly?
That's correct. Her and my brother have been kicking butt.
Nice. How old are they and what are they getting? They're just, is it in school that they're doing it?
Yeah, I actually, right before we talked, just got done posting about my brother.
Okay.
My brother is 18 years old. My sister's 17. They're both juniors in high school, though. They were homeschooled most of their lives, so they're a little bit off on the age range within the high school. Both team captains of the women's and the men's team within their school. Wow. And they're both kicking butt and taking names, and they both work at a landscaping company on the side. Brock's the foreman of it at the age of 18, and they also have their own things going. My sister helps run our breeding program at my house for Maverick German Shepherds, and my brother does his own woodworking and is starting his own business making hay bale rings, if anybody knows where those are on the side.
Wow. Like, if my son comes home and does homework and put his shoes in the right spot, we had a great day. I'm happy. So that's amazing. That's really awesome. Please tell him I said congrats and keep going, keep kicking butt. Love it.
Show me up. You know, I'm usually the busy one. They're like, nah, we're busier now. I'm proud. Keep going.
That's awesome. Talking about that, if they wanted to transition to mixed martial arts, would you be a big fan of it? A big sister, hey, let's kick some butt under the wing kind of a thing?
100%. Every time I go home with them, I train with them. My brother, like I say this, always my brother. So people be like, yeah, well, of course you'd say that. But he is a freak athlete. He's super strong. If anybody's seen any of the videos I post to him wrestling, he just does the most insane stuff that you're not supposed to be able to do to people, like rock bottom slams in the middle of a wrestling match. Wrestling weights above what he even weighs. And then, you know, my dad's been teaching us jiu-jitsu since I was a kid. And now, of course, I've got more technique and things like that. So I go home and teach them even more. And they train at least an hour a day just at home with my dad and with each other. And in addition to that, like, I don't necessarily know if I want my brother to go into MMA. He's such a big kid that you're going to get hurt as an amateur, and they don't really pay medical bills for you. There's just smarts that have to go into that. And for men, it's a lot harder to make it. But my sister, I've been on her. I'm like, come on, we can be the UFC sisters, the next Shevchenkos. Let's go.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I was gonna say Shevchenko, that is a main event, co-main event, 2026. Dana White, you're welcome. There you go. Man, love it. Well, that is awesome. That's so cool. And then when big fan of yours, first and foremost. Followed your career. We've seen you UFC Fight Pass, Invicta FC. Finally made your UFC debut. Kicked ass, taking names. 23 years young, though. Is that do you think that's a big advantage? Do you love being kind of young a little bit? Or is it like, wow, I cannot wait in 3-4 more years from now? Like, you're not even close to your peak. Like, you're already one of the best female flyweights on this planet, and imagine you at 27, 28. So just take that and run with it, I guess.
Yeah, so that's kind of exactly what I was going to say. That is the advantage to being 23, you know. I've literally only been training MMA since I was 18 years old. So I've been in this sport for 5 years, started actually fighting like 2 months after starting striking, and jumped right into it. Within a year was a pro, and of course worked my way up with Invicta. I feel like I got the hardest opponents and the hardest road to the top, but I got there. Was ready for that title fight. Never got that belt around my waist, but I guarantee it would have been. And here I am in the UFC showing my stuff there. It's the dream from since I fought the first time, and I finally made it there, and I don't plan on stopping here. At the age of 23, you know, I feel like I improved so quickly in between fights to where a lot of the older girls, you just kind of stagnate over time. There's only so much that you reach, you know, and I feel like my potential's way up here, and I'm just leveled in the middle. So that's why I like fighting young opponents too, because they get to improve the same way. It's kind of unpredictable when they go into a new fight because you never know what they're going to add to their game.
Right. Wow. Very well said. 8-2. Yes, there's Habib that was 29-0, and Izzy's unbelievable, undefeated. Is it crazy cliche for me to say that those 2 losses really helped you get you where you're at right now? Do you think that you learn more on the wins or the losses, or you are, like you said, you're growing so fast and so exponentially, or you just any kind of fight you take it or any kind of practice helps you, or did those 2 losses really make you the female fighter you are today?
It's kind of what you said. I think any experience makes me
Okay.
better. I'm not a huge advocate in the whole you either win or you learn. I think that's bull crap. I think you
Okay.
lose.
Yeah.
I did lose, but at the same time, it can be a learning experience. And I think more than anything, it was a whole mental issue with me. My first pro loss was 5 months after I came back from a very bad knee surgery that I kept quiet, and I wasn't even cleared yet. I should have listened to my doctors. I was just young and eager and didn't want to decline a fight that I thought was a big deal for me. Went in there and I paid for it. I was rusty. I hadn't been training for long after my fight or after my surgery, and I paid for it. Then the first Deanna Bennett fight, I just didn't pull the trigger enough, didn't act fast enough, and didn't have my head in the game good enough. Of course, I got to kind of seek revenge, I guess you'd say, against her in the Invicta Phoenix series.
Yep.
And that was an amazing opportunity for me. Kind of got to see where I had grown over a year, so that was really good. I'm still kind of bitter that my first 2 fights in that tournament didn't count. UFC put me as 10-2. Now it's back to 8-2. I don't even know what to tell people that I am, so I'll go with the higher number.
There you go.
But I wish the losses weren't there at all. I don't really think that they benefited me any more than wins do.
Okay.
I get the same mental toughness and mental benefits when I get punched in the head in practice. I don't see why you have to lose, or it's the same way in life. I don't have to go bankrupt to learn how to manage money. I could just start reading and watching other people.
Great points. I love that. That was a really good point. All right, we went 7 minutes and we haven't mentioned it. Let's get into it. I'm so pumped for this fight. I don't know if you seen us at Fight Bananas before or heard of us. We are huge Jillian Savage Robertsons. We love her mindset. We love that she loves to stay busy. We love to stay eager. We love that she wants to go for the finish. A lot of fighters, that's not even say male or female, just a lot of fighters sometimes, they'll sit on top and they'll be happy with a win. She's not. She wants to get to the finish. You are, to me, reminds me a lot of that. We're huge fans of you. You do want to get the finish. We love you standing up in the ground. You're great everywhere. This is a tremendous fight. This is one of those fights. Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor is about to go at it. They fought on the main card, first fight on the main card, and now they're the main event of Fight Island. We could see you and Jillian run this back at UFC 280 in a huge main event fight. So there I go. I think I sold enough pay-per-views for Dana. You're welcome. What can you say about this fight? How eager are you for this?
I'm really excited for it too. She's obviously a little higher ranked than me, so people ask if I was surprised to get the call. Not at all. If I don't know if she's able to say it or if I even am, but we had gotten a couple fight offers where we went back and forth with each other. And I'm glad she was finally able to take this one. The timing worked out for both of us. I'm excited to face her. I think it's a good matchup. We both have that grappling background, and I'm excited to execute that portion of it if it gets there. I've met Jillian before. I have a lot of respect for her. I do like that she stays active. I like that she trains a lot. She's not just out there, acting like she's a UFC fighter. She really puts in the work and does it. So I appreciate that part of her game. However, I do think that I have a lot of benefits that she doesn't quite have. I think I'll have size and strength on her more than anything, and I think my striking's developing to the point it's going to give her a lot of trouble. And then as far as the grappling game, she's used to being on top. She's used to being able to scramble out of bottom when she makes mistakes. During takedowns, I feel like a lot of times she ends up on bottom a lot. And that's not a smart place to be with me. I can just say that from my grappling background and from in the middle of my fights. I transition pretty well. You just got done talking to Pearl. That's a pretty good example of that. I just was able to go in there and put on a grappling clinic and kind of wanted to do that and show off what I could do on the ground within that fight. You talk about seeking the finish. That's one of the only fights I can think of that I wasn't in a rush to finish my opponent. I wanted to put on a show.
Right. Wow. you kind of mentioned rankings there and how she's ahead of you with rankings a little bit. I think the UFC, to be blunt, honest about it, doesn't really care that much about rankings. It's just about like the momentum and the feel. And right now, I think you have great momentum. You have great feel. You had such a great debut. You have great buzz about your name. Like I said, I listened to Anik and Florian, big John Anik guy. He is a huge fan of yours. And that's one of those people that you want to kind of say your name out there. He's on there at Fight Island. You never know who John is talking to with Dana behind back door. So it's just, that means more than sometimes a ranking. Who cares who's number 8? Like,
absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Like, and I've loved John Anik's support. Like, since I got to Fight Island, him, Bruce Buffer, like, just so many nice people that you, like, idolize or whatever. And then you meet them, and it's like, oh, this is awesome. Like, they're my friends almost at this point, you know? And I've messaged John. I'm just so appreciative and grateful for the opportunities that I have and the position that I'm in right now. But it's my responsibility to live up to that hype. I don't just walk into this fight thinking, well, they think I'm the best. They think I'm the second best flyweight in the world, like they said. I don't really need to do any work. I'm already there, you know? No.
Right.
I'm in the gym every day trying to improve every single day, training 5-6 hours a day, depending, and trying to show up and show out to prove why there's hype behind my name.
I am pretty biased. I think the female flyweight division is the best division for the females. Stacked. Valentina, you have a great champion. Maya, Murphy, Jessica's in there now. JoJo, Macy Barber's coming back. Jillian and yourself. Are these names that you definitely want to hit on the way? Is there, no, I don't care. I just want the championship belt. Would you ever think about moving weight classes? Kind of what Amanda Nunes has done, 2 weight class champion in the future. What's kind of your outlook, or what's the landscape of what you think of the female flyweight division?
Honestly, right now, I only see myself fighting as a flyweight. If people go back and look, I tried to make strawweight twice in my life. Now I'm even more muscular than I was then. It's very hard for me to cut down below 125, 135. I'm just so short. Like, that's just the honesty there. I could easily do 135. I have fought at 135 before, but I'm so small. Not necessarily bulky wise, but so small, short wise, that's a big disadvantage for me, I think. So that I just wouldn't do that. The girls are walking around 160, 170, and I'm not. So that's an unfair advantage. But on top of that, you asked about if I wanted to like move up via those people. I'll fight everybody that's in the division. I don't care. That's how I had to do it in Invicta. And I'm just a little bit salty over that because I see some of the girls that just get to hop. And I went through every hard fight there was. But I'm not complaining either way. If I get paid, I go in there, I get to fight and do what I love for a living, then I'm happy. You know, I've called out a couple names I'd love to fight on the way up there. That's Antonina Chukagian. I'd love to fight both those girls, but anyone along the way, I have a lot of respect for a lot of these girls. We talked about my age. I'd say a lot of that plays into it. I was watching these women as I grew up, as I started the sport, and I was like, wow, they're doing this. They're pioneering the sport. And here I am at their level, if not above a lot of their levels, getting ready to fight them. I don't bring that into the cage with me. Of course, I have a lot of respect. A good example is the Anderson Silva versus, was it Usman?
Silva?
Yeah, whoever fought Silva last, you know, there's so much respect there.
Uriah Hall.
Yes, Uriah Hall. And I feel the same way when I go in and fight some of these girls, you know. It's such an honor to fight them, but at the same time, I'm not going to take it easy or have a mental block because of it, you know. It's not I call it the big sister syndrome, you know. I torment my siblings over it. I'm like, you're so used to getting beat up by me, you could beat me up now, but you're just taking it easy. Let's go.
I like that. You're right. Like they have what you want. They're in front of you of your goal and your dreams and your aspirations. So it's a fair or fun way to be. I do respectful and not to be nasty about it, but they got what you want. And I think Miranda Maverick's going to go get it. So kind of last kind of question here. And then we have 5 fun questions and we'll end it with that. We appreciate your time coming on the show. Like I said, we're big fans of you. And, UFC 258 to me, I pay-per-views is something big. The whole week, the buzz of the show, they're gonna have embedded. So you might be involved with it with you and Jillian back and forth. As a fighter, do you feel that? Do you notice it? Is it something that gives you a little bit more juice on the fight? Or a lot of fighters are like, I don't care. I can be on a Wednesday card or a fight night at the Apex or at Fight Night. It doesn't matter. Or does that matter to you? Having a little bit more juice, a little bit more eyes, a little bit more video. Usman Burns is the main event, a great main event to kind of, anchor the card. Does it feel good that you're on a UFC pay-per-view show?
Of course, that feels good, especially from an exposure standpoint. I was on the biggest card pretty much of 2020 last year. That was really exciting. But, COVID has really taken a hit on those kind of things. I don't really get to feel all of the attention from fans, the camera face. There's not as much of that. So I can't really honestly say how it would affect me. I love the fan attention. I love having fans around, that support system around me. But at the same time, once I go into that cage, once I'm in the middle of the walkout, it doesn't matter. Nothing matters anymore. I could have an empty room just like last time pretty much, and I'm just as focused as I would have with 30,000 to 100,000 people around me. The same amount of people are watching, the only thing that matters is who I have in my corner, and that I can have God with me and go in there and be ready to put on a show. It's all about preparing yourself beforehand. I don't want to take it away from the fans by saying I don't care if they're not there, but once that cage door closes, I really don't care if my name's being chanted, if I'm being booed. If anything, the boos are what encouraged me to win a fight more.
No, that's all. It's so funny you say that. Way back in the heyday, in the younger years of myself, I was a pretty decent basketball player. Had some really big high school games, right? And I would love playing on the road more than playing at home. There's just something about quieting the other fans and looking people in the eye after you hit that shot. There's nothing in the world better than that. So I agree immensely with that. All right, 5 fun questions for you. You ready?
I'm ready.
Your favorite locker room story?
Probably people's street fights that they try to tell me about, especially people that want to act like they fought but haven't ever fought, and they try
right.
But that's not necessarily a locker room story. I don't really have other female locker room, but like guys in the gym when you're done with training and they're cooling down, they're like, yeah, I got in this fight one time, and I'm like, cool, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. That's awesome. What's your all-time favorite movie?
I just got up being asked this question. I have no idea, but one of my favorite actors, or a couple of them, are Mel Gibson, John Wayne. Very old schooly.
Okay, old school country, old school. I liked it. The westerns. After weighing in, what's your 100% go-to meal?
Well, chocolate milk is my first and foremost. I'm like, give me chocolate milk. I'm downing that stuff. But after weigh-ins, I usually just try to have some like chicken Alfredo. That's one of my favorite things to have. We were in Abu Dhabi last time, and I had this thing called butter chicken with naan bread. Oh, best thing I'd ever had. So that was pretty great too.
I'll tell. I know some of the guys out there now. I tell them to bring it back for you. We'll leftovers it for you. What's your biggest pet peeve?
Oh, okay. So I have a lot. Little lies, I can't stand them. I don't care if it's a little lie or big lie. Don't tell me you're going to be 5 minutes late. Tell me you're going to be 5 minutes early if that's the case. And I hate being tapped on the shoulder. Hate it.
Okay. Wow. We won't do that. What's a song that you know every single word to?
This is going to be corny and hilarious, but the first song that I ever learned every word to, and still a song that means a lot to me, is Daddy's Girl by Ted Levine, I think it is. That's
awesome.
Yeah. I actually sang it in church, and then was a little bit sick right before that, got nervous. I've never sang since, by the way. It was 5 years old, ran off the stage, ran right into my dad's lap, and puked all over him.
That's a good story. That is a great story. Miranda, Fear the Maverick. I know I saw like on your socials, you're putting some t-shirts out there. If you want to send the link, we'll put it on this podcast, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, all podcast platforms. We'll put it on our stations and all of that nature. Appreciate you and your time. Continue success. Good luck. Stay healthy. And we can't wait. We'll watch you 4 weeks away. It's getting close.
Yeah, less than 3 weeks, actually, I think.
Wow. It is a great fight. It's one of those fights. I think when it gets closer and closer, it's like one of those, it's going to be like the people's main event. I think a lot of people are still starting to really attract to this fight. So, like I said, can't wait. We wish you nothing but the best, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.